Fostering the culture of innovation and quality education equips students with skills such as critical thinking and creativity. This was evident at Mount St. Mary's College Namagunga during their annual education fair under the theme Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, including humanities for sustainable growth and economic development. My name is Maureen Babidie and welcome to the Education Forum. Let's see how the event unfolded.
It's Mount St. Mary's College Namagunga in Form 3A. So today we have an exhibition demonstrating Newton's third law of motion. Now, Newton's third law of motion states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Yes? For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So in our exhibition today, we have an air-powered car which runs by this law. Now, today we are going to blow air into this balloon, and this air is going to exert pressure in the balloon, causing it to fill up. When this balloon fills up, we are going to temporarily block this airway, and then we are going to put it on the floor so that it can move. When we release this airway, the air is going to come gushing out of the balloon, hence prompting the car to move in an opposite direction. The air is going to gush out of the balloon in this direction, and the car is going to move in an opposite direction, demonstrating the part of for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. The car is going to move in an opposite direction compared to where the air came out. Now the equal aspect comes in where the amount of air I blow into the balloon determines how far and how fast the car moves. Now, if I blow little air into this balloon, the car is going to move slowly and for a short distance. However, if I blow a lot of air into this balloon, the car is going to move very fast and very far, demonstrating the aspect of the equal aspect. Hence, demonstrating the Newton's third law, which states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So I would like to demonstrate.
Now was a project in physics demonstrating Newton's third law of motion using an air-powered car. According to the students, the objective of the project is to design, build and test a car that is powered by only a balloon to make it move as fast as possible. Let's get to see another innovation of electrolysis, and this time from chemistry. The students will tell us more about this project and its purpose.
What we are producing today it's a process called electrolysis. Electrolysis is the process by which we separate elements from a compound. In this case, elements are the hydrogen and oxygen molecules, and the compound we are moving it from is water. So we can't use pure water because pure water does not generate electricity as well as we expect it to. So we add acidic conditions. In this case, we're using sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid it produces and generates electricity the way we want it to, and its chemical composition is SO4, and it has 4 oxygen molecules, which will also get 1 molecule from the H2O we are using, hence producing 5 oxygen molecules and 2 hydrogen molecules.
So the aim of this project, we are looking at a world where even the lowest health center can produce oxygen. The oxygen preparation unit we have now is getting air from the atmosphere, separating, getting its elements. But we know that the air from the atmosphere has over 8 elements. But then if we use water has 2 elements, which will make it simpler for us to separate. So we get a trough and drill 2 holes into it to connect the carbon nodes. The carbon nodes are the conductors of the electricity going to be generated from the dry cells. We put water into the trough, but then we also add sulfuric acid to dilute it. We then get 2 bottles, connect tubes to it, and we make sure not even a drop of water or air can pass through the holes around the tube. We connect the tubes to other bottles. It would be better to use a gas tank because the gas tank can be switched on and off, but then we are looking at a person at the lowest level, like the health center one, where a person doesn't even know what a gas tank is, so they can get a bottle like a soda bottle and connect it to the bottle which is in the sulfuric acid. We then connect wires to the dry cells. We could have used electricity, but there are some places in Uganda where there's no electricity. We then connect the wires to the battery cells. Then there's a side of the battery cell which is negatively charged. We observe that the negatively charged part of the dry cell, we produce protons, which will then make this positively charged. Which will make this positively charged. Then we observe that the other side of the battery cell is positively charged, which will make this part negatively charged. When you connect the wires to this, the wire will transfer the current to the carbon rods. Then we shall observe, as we are doing the experiment, that one side will have more air bubbles than the other side. The side with the more air bubbles is the hydrogen, and you can observe this because if the hydrogen is entering the bottle will keep shaking. Then the other side with the oxygen, we produce less air bubbles, and the bottle will also shake, but at a slower pace than the hydrogen. Sulfuric acid has negatively charged particles, and the water has positively charged particles. That means if you are to apply mathematics, the negatively charged particles will be 4, and the positive ones it's 1. That means we shall produce 3 negatively charged oxygen atoms and some hydrogen molecule atoms, which are 2, doing it practically. As we can see, one side is reacting more than the other one. The side which is reacting more is the hydrogen, and we can also observe that the bottle is somehow shaking, so that the hydrogen gas is actually entering. Then the side which is reacting less is the oxygen, but the bottle doesn't shake a lot because it's reacting less.
The oxygen produced can be used, for example, one, we can use it in gas tanks for cooking, and in Uganda today, the oxygen, as in during the COVID period, they used to buy oxygen from companies, which used to make it expensively and at a higher rate. In this process, if it's made bigger and better, we can produce oxygen, which can be used for hospitals if added medicine too. Yes.
The hydrogen produced can be used in gas tanks for cooking. Then in America there are cars which are powered by hydrogen, of which they do not produce the fume, of which when a car is in poor mechanical conditions, that fume produced, it actually pollutes the environment. And now with hydrogen, it doesn't produce any fume, that's conserving our environment. And then if you do not have sulfuric acid, you can as well use salt, dilute the salt in water, and it can also react. If you don't have the carbon rods, you can actually use pencils.
Interestingly, the next project is about robotics from the ICT subject. This innovation, called the robot alcohol car detector, is quite fascinating. It could be useful to the government to collect revenue and reduce accidents caused by drunk driving. Let's see how it works.
I am Namyanja Melanie from Mount St. Mary's College, Namagunga. This is the ICT project for the coding club under the ICT department. So our project is called ROCO, the robot alcohol car detector. It is a program or a component that is going to solve the problem of drunken driving that causes road accidents. Now, the component is to be installed in vehicles, whereby when a drunken driver or someone who has taken alcohol or planning to open alcohol enters the car, this is supposed to be the component at the driver's seat. Now, as the driver inhales and exhales, the alcohol content is going to be detected using the detector. Now, the detector is going to send signals to the different servers that will be sent to the different servers, and now the different servers are connected to the police and the URA, and also the person. The person is supposed to have an app. Now, when the alcohol is detected, signals are sent to the police that sends back a message to the person driving the vehicle that you have been detected for having alcohol or you are not in a suitable condition of driving the car. Now this exact signal is sent to URA. Now URA will automatically start deducting money from the driver's account in order to, as a penalty for drinking while driving or driving when drunk. Now, after the signal and the notification has been sent to the driver, also the car itself is to start alerting the person that you have been detected with alcohol. Now, the police will automatically send a notification to the nearest traffic officers around, and the nearest traffic officers will start tracking down the car using GPS system until they find the driver. Definitely the driver will be told to pull over and more charges will be pressed, including the fine that will have to pay more to URA. That is how generally the system works. Now, the demonstration part. First do. Okay, so this is the alcohol sensor. Do the alcohol thing. So if you notice, here there is an orange light. This is the orange light. Now, when alcohol is detected, the orange light goes off and now a green light at the back of the sensor lights. At this juncture, automatically the signals are sent to the police, as I explained earlier, through the servers. And the police is going to get a notification it's going to send a notification to the police that looks like this: a drunken driver detected, and then it will have the registration number of the vehicle, all the details of the driver, his name, the vehicle number, and also the alcohol level that is at. Yes, and as well as the speed that he's driving at. Now that will be at the police. Now immediately when the police gets this notification on the drunken driver's mobile phone or on the screen display in the car, it will it will bring this that has alcohol detected. Authorities have been notified. Pull over safely immediately. Now at this juncture as well, also now the police would have been, the nearest traffic officers would have been alerted. So they'll start tracking you and following you so that you can pull over safely. Now, also, the URA would have also received a notification that drunken driving, then the car details, and then your details, and also they'll start issuing you fees immediately. Now, every 5 minutes, your money keeps on deducting. Now, for cases whereby, let's say, the police officer is in a very long distance, your car is going to automatically start reducing at a rate of 10 kilometers every 5 minutes. In this way, that in case the police cannot reach you in the time frame, at least your car is going to help you to stop overspeeding, and it's going to control accidents. Now, every 5 minutes, the car speed from wherever you're being speeding from is going to start reducing by 10 kilometers to an average velocity of 20 kilometers per hour. When we look at 20 kilometers per hour, it's not speedy enough for it to cause a lot of damage. That in case a car knocks her at 20 kilometers per hour, the damage is very little or barely noticeable.
Keira is a dermatologist or skin expert for her innovation called Keira Glam. She developed her project from her own experience of a stubborn skin infection. She uses natural ingredients like aloe vera and coconut oil to make her skin antibacterial. Let's find out more.
Today I'm a dermatologist. I'm working on skincare routines. Very many people out there, we have suffered with pimples, acne, dry skin, and some people with oily skins like me don't like it when I put coconut oil or any moisturizers and it's very heavy on my face. I have suffered with pimples for quite very many years since my P6. So today I have discovered an organic solution, not a pharmaceutical solution. This solution is organic. You can make it at your homes, in your kitchens, anywhere. So today I have different samples. I have samples of my materials. My materials are made from glycerin. This glycerin is it's a natural moisturizer. It helps to pull moisture from the atmosphere into your face. I don't use any artificial moisturizers here. They're all natural. I also have coconut oil. Coconut oil is a carrier for all my ingredients into your skin so that it's easy for my ingredients to reach inside your skin, the internal parts of your skin. This is to make it work effectively. I also have tea tree oil. Most of you out there know how expensive tea tree oil is to get. Well, today I got it and made it part of my combination for my project. Yeah, so this has tea tree oil, it has glycerin, it has aloe vera. Most of you also know how good aloe vera is with your skin, so I also put it here for you aloe vera lovers. I also have chia seeds. Chia seeds helps to soften your skin. It leaves your skin softened. And if any of you are asking, this does not bleach your skin. It leaves you in your natural color. If you have a beautiful dark skin, it's going to leave you in your natural color. I also have coconut oil. Like I said, it's a carrier, glycerin, tea tree oil, and chia seeds. These are the only ingredients in my solution here. This is used after showering. You have to shower with soap. You have to apply soap on your face. You don't just wash your face with water so that it can make your face pale and open up your pores for my material to enter your skin properly. Yes, so then you apply it and massage your face. And this lasts 24 hours until you decide to shower again. Yeah, so this works within 2 weeks only, because I started using it in November. Within 2 weeks, I saw very good results. I had very bad acne before this. I had black spots, and it has actually worked. Some of the results are here on the board. Yeah, that's my project, and it's only below 5,000. It's 5,000 for a big bottle, and these are only 2,000. Only a cheap price to get a very good glowing skin, a beautiful skin. Yeah, please support my business. Thank you so much. Ankunda Kera.
From beauty to environment, everyone wants to be in a clean and organized environment, free from pollution. The next project is how to raise seedlings in pepper pots using a more suitable technology, because paper is biodegradable, whereas polythene is not.
And right here is an exhibition, a way of disseminating my project. So my project is about raising seedlings in pepper pots as a way of attaining a clean green environment. Yes? So we notice that when you're moving on roadsides, that you're going to notice that there are people raising seedlings, should I say, in polythene pots. These polythene pots are they contain plants, but the polythene is non-biodegradable. How can we combat that? Yes, they are trying to recycle, but the way of recycling is not complete, it's half-baked. So why not use a more suitable complete cycle, which is using paper pots, in a way that these materials are relatively cheap. As you can see, it's newspapers. Newspapers are relatively cheap, yes. We have seedlings, we have cassava scrapings, which are boiled to attain starch for gluing the paper together. We have a bottle that is used in cylindricating the pot into the desired shape. Then we have the soil to be used for raising the seedlings. Yes, one would be wondering what are the conditions holding these papers together. These are cohesion and adhesion forces that are holding the papers next to the polythene, next to the soil as well as the water. So you notice that polythene is non-biodegradable since it's a synthetic fiber. A synthetic fiber whereby its polymer chains are not easily worked on by microbes in the soil. While paper is a natural fiber, and hence the microbes in the soil can easily take action when this is taking into the soil. So we noticed that this is our paper. This is our paper pot, and these paper pots are really good for holding the seedlings together by keeping and making sure that there is enough watering regularly. And also we consider the plants. This is mahogany, which is an environmentally friendly plant in a way that it's a carbon sink when it grows big, and in a way that it is a climate moderator. Then we have our cash crop, which is cocoa. This cocoa is a traditional cash crop, and it is a source of income for all those who desire to have cocoa and have income, to farmers out there who really want to invest in the cocoa section. And then we have tomatoes. This is a sign that you can also plant vegetables, you can plant fruits in here. Then we have our coffee. This is coffee, which is also a traditional cash crop, a source of income that can enable you to pay for fees for surplus and all. Then also, one can decide to sell the seedlings right as they are, or one can choose to invest in raising the seedlings into bigger plants, hence selling the fruits of the yields of the seedlings that have been bare. For example, the fruits from the fruit trees, and as well as the vegetables. Yes, and we can notice, one would be wondering, how is this going to decompose? I have held this for I've held it for 9 weeks, and we can see there is a root protruding. This is an indicator that once it is inserted into the soil, this is going to enable the plant protrude through the soil due to the natural components of paper as a natural fiber. It enables the plant to penetrate into the soil, hence easily decomposing and allowing a firm, clean and practical eco-friendliness of using paper. One would say this is an ornamental. People want pretty homes, people want beautified homes. One can do this and sell it, earning income, and those who buy it will earn their beautiful homes, they will get their interesting homes. One would want to live in a state of luxury. Yes, one can also invest in seedlings, fruit trees like mangoes. You can sell the mangoes or you can sell the seedlings. Then we also have the precautions is that you're supposed to hold the paper when you're transplanting. You're supposed to transplant in the evening, and more efficient in a way that you have to hold the paper when it is in its dry state, because when you hold it in its drenched state, it is easily going to disintegrate the structure of the paper pot. Then we have it is easy to transplant since it is biodegradable, hence because it saves time, because it is easy to transplant. Now if I want to transplant this, I'm going to take it directly into the soil. Taking it directly into the soil, hence allowing it, you can see the root protruding, it will easily penetrate into the soil and take firmness, as well as this can create humus, as well as also contributing to the structure composition of the plant and holding it firm for a good time. Then why this project? A source of food, it's a source of income, it's a source of luxury to those who want ornamentals, and it's also used for study purposes, because one is going to have to research and one is going to really gain the knowledge which is going to actually advance one's thinking capacity. So, and also the raw materials, we can see they are relatively cost effective and cheap. So I highly encourage those raising seedlings in polythene pots to invest more in using paper pots, because they are biodegradable and they are really efficient in a way that they are environmentally friendly. So why not practically appreciate the eco-friendliness of paper? Thank you for listening.
Climate change mitigation focuses on reducing greenhouse gas emissions to limit warming, while adaptation involves adjusting to the unavoidable impacts of climate change already occurring or expected. Basing on this, students designed their project on how to protect the environment to avert effects of climate change.
So now
what I'm presenting to you right now is a class project of S2D talking about climate change. So the purpose of this project is to spread awareness on climate change, that climate change is real and what can we do to stop it. So you may ask, what is climate change? So, you know these hot temperatures that we've been receiving in January and in Feb, and then the massive rain in March. That's a result of climate change, because climate change is the change of the climatic patterns of the world. So in Uganda, it may say Uganda's temperatures, they may be mid, they may be average, then all of a sudden they become hot, and then another point they become cold. So that's a result of climate change. So now here, where climate change can lead to, these massive rains have led to floods, like the floods in Kampala. That's a result of climate change. Climate change has also led to the outbreak of the wildfires. For example, the wildfires in Los Angeles, that's a result of climate change. So the purpose of our project, like I said, is to spread awareness of climate change and what we can do to mitigate it or to slow it down. So here, with climate change, so right now the theme that we have as our project is the power of choice. So the power of choice would mean that I choose to save the environment. I choose to save Uganda. I choose to save my community of the effects of climate change. Or I choose to continue. I choose to continue living my ways and affect and increasing the rate of climate change. And that would result that I would not live in the same world that I used to.
Still about environmental protection initiatives by students of Mount St. Mary's College Namagunga, they developed a project about creating multifunctional bins. These bins offer a sustainable and practical solution of upgrading discarded plastic bottles.
So now, right now with climate change, so one of the causes of climate change are man's activities, our activities. What we do as a community can lead to climate change. For example, the use of plastics. We use plastics a lot because they are cheap, they are light, yes. So we use plastics a lot, like the plastic bottles, the plastic cups, the buveras in crisps, in snackmans, yes. So now dumping those wastes would lead to climate change because we're not disposing them properly. They're going to make the soil infertile. They're going to make the soil infertile. Now with the soil infertile, there would be hindrance in growth of trees. And these trees are carbon sinks, meaning that they absorb the carbon dioxide and all those greenhouse gases that would lead to climate change. So our mitigation methods for climate change are repurposing. Our main mitigation is repurposing, or repurposing of these plastics that my colleague is going to explain to you.
So yes, here under our mitigation of repurposing, we are repurposing these plastics because of the negative changes, the negative effects that we saw. First of all, why are we repurposing these plastics? These plastics have caused very many negative effects to the environment. For example, these plastics, after taking your drinks or doing anything of any sort, people tend to throw away their plastics anyhowly. People tend to burn these plastics. But remember, when you burn a plastic or many plastics, you're going to lead to different changes. For example, if you burn a plastic, to lead to emission of greenhouse gases. And remember, when these greenhouse gases are emitted, it leads to global warming. And global warming is the gradual increase in the earthly temperatures due to the damage of the ozone layer. So that one plastic that you are burning is causing a very negative effect to our environment. That's why we are trying to find a way of repurposing these plastics instead of burning them or dumping them in water bodies, which will affect our aquatic animals, or just storing them in gardens. And remember, these plastics are non-biodegradable. That means they're not allowing in water penetration, or they're not allowing in air and the soil. So that's why we are repurposing them instead of throwing them into your gardens, which will affect the proper growth growth of your plants, sort of burning them, which will lead to emission of greenhouse gases that cause global warming. Hence, global warming leads to hot temperatures that lead to drying of water bodies, death of animals, and all that sort. We are trying to show you a way in which we can repurpose these plastics. Like, for example, people may have a question, I'm done taking my drinks, what should I do for these plastics? That's why we are showing you a way how we can do this by making these extras, which are cheaper. These extras which are cheaper, for example, these plastics that have been dumped anywhere, we collected them and we found a way of repurposing them. Cut the bottoms, then you are able to make something cheaper. For example, if I'm a farmer, I'm able to get an extra, instead of buying this from a shop, which may be something like 5,000, you're able to make something cheaper, which is uncostly. We're also showing you how we can repurpose these plastics by making a foundation for them for making the seedlings. In these areas, people tend to put their seedlings in polythenes. And remember, these polythenes have negative effects to our environment, but you can repurpose these plastics for planting in your seedlings, that after you can take them to the gardens for your growth. Then we also made the wall decorations, as you can see, from jerry cans. For example, those dumped jerry cans everywhere in your surroundings, you can make decorations with them. For example, these doormats, which people can use. So yes, our main sub-theme is repurposing plastics that have led to different negative effects in the environment. Thank you.
Still about environmental protection initiatives by students of Mount St. Mary's College Namagunga, they developed a project about creating multifunctional bins. These bins offer a sustainable and practical solution of upgrading discarded plastic bottles.
So our project is about upcycling plastic bottles into multifunctional dry waste bins. Okay, why this project? We thought of the current occurrence of the Kitezi landfill and how the waste collapsed. So we thought of a way to incorporate our knowledge that we learned in class and solve this problem. And by making the dry waste bins, we are going to put dry waste here because our base cannot hold the waste that is damp. And we used plastic bottles because they are easy to get. And if we use plastic bottles, since they are non-biodegradable, we are solving the problem of poor waste management by reusing or upcycling the bottles. When you use the bottles, you can either use the bottles and bottle tops, because if you use only the bottles, you will still leave the bottle tops that's still not solving anything because they're also non-biodegradable. During the process of making, we collected the bottles, washed them, and dried them, and then we joined the bottles using adhesive glue because it's stronger, and then you used a metal wire to pass through to make the structure stronger. The reason why we painted is because no one wants an ugly thing, and this is like to add aesthetic value to the home because it can be used in households or communities like schools. Yes.
When making this project, in case you have to make it on your own, you have to make sure that you don't cut yourself. So you have to be careful with the items like the knives or like the scissors that you're using to cut. And also, you also have to be careful while using the glue, the hot glue gun, because we use the hot glue gun that supports stronger glue for gluing the materials together. So you have to be careful while using it. So the bin is used for decomposing of dry waste like bottles, polythene that usually are the main pollutants of our environment and pollute the soil as well. So dumping them in this waste bin will reduce soil pollution and hence higher crop yield since the crops will have enough water to grow well. And also the bin is just also keeping the drying equipment like the brooms, the rags that you use to clean the environment so to avoid them from easily getting spoiled. And yeah.
The making of soap, detergents and disinfectants is also a project made by students. They have a vision of pursuing this innovation further to greater heights and registering it as a limited company called Bubble, owned by them as directors.
Hello, greetings from Bubbles, and this Bubbles is an upcoming company that plans on making cleaning reagents And for this day, our science fair in Mount St. Mary's College, Namagunga, we decided to work on hand wash to reduce the dependency on sanitizer, because it's commonly known that sanitizer is the only portable type of cleaning effect you can have for your hands. But in this case, our hand wash is also portable. And sanitizer, most sanitizer that is affordable or cheap or found everywhere is usually in one scent, one color. It's never multicolored or anything, different scents. It's just one scent or one color. But Bubbles has come to solve all that. We have different scents, different colors, and different packaging bottles. The process of making our hand wash was done by the students, the 10 girls who worked on it. So firstly, we have ingredients like Texapon gel, which acts as our foaming agent and our thickener. We have industrial salt, which aids in dissolving the Texapon, because Texapon is really, when you buy it in its chemical form, it's a hard gel that is colorless, that takes long to dissolve. So that's why we need the industrial salt to dissolve it. Then we have water, which helps in combining all the ingredients as we are mixing. So it acts as our solvent. Then we have sodium lauryl sulfate, which is our cleaning agent, it's also our surfactant and our foam booster, which helps in, when I say foam booster, Texapon gel is already a foam booster. It's already the foam, the base of the hand wash. But then when you add in the SLS, it helps to keep up the foam, to ensure that when you're washing your hands, you're not just using something clear to wash your hands. So you actually have bubbles forming. You're seeing bubbles as you're working with it. Then we have glycerin, which is our humectant and helps reserve the skin's moisture. When you wash your hands, you will not be washing your hands to just get them clean. You do not have to first get Vaseline or lotion to smear your hands. No, this time the soap has the glycerin to help preserve that moisture, to help keep it soft, to help keep your hands soft and moist. Yeah. Then we also have carboxylic, we have carbamexyl cellulose, which is our stabilizer and our thickener. It helps to stabilize. When I say stabilize, when you buy a hand wash, yeah, you're going to buy it and use it and leave it for maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you find it is already liquefying, like it's becoming liquid, like not thick enough the way you bought it. No, even if it takes about a month, you're going to find it the same consistency you bought it, because it's stable, because it has no alterations. Then we have, it's also our degreaser, which helps in reducing the grease. Like you will not find it very greasy, like you will not find grease in it. Like when you're using it and you find instead of removing the dirt, instead it is adding on the dirt. Then we have KDS, which is acting as our preservative in our hand wash to preserve it. Like the hand wash you cannot buy it and then you find it's going to take only 1 day. No, it's going to last because it has in the preservative agent in it. Then we have Silky. When you look at our hand wash, it has a shining agent in it, which you do not find in most hand wash. When you buy most hand wash, yes, it might smell nice, it might look nice, but ours has in a shiny agent, and it is actually thick because of all the foam boosters in it, because of the thickening agents in it, like the nasi, the sodium, yeah. And then like we said, we also have perfumes and the colorants according to what people prefer. We have the non-scented ones for people who are allergic to scent. We have uncolored for those allergic to color. And we have tested it, and it has a perfect pH of neutral. It is neutral, it is at 7.4. It has been tested, and it has been tested on the different family members of the Bubbles members or the investors. So those members, you cannot, of course you have someone who is allergic to, who is sensitive, who has a sensitive skin. So they have used it and they have tested it and it is okay. So support Bubbles. Yeah, thank you.
The education fair organized at Namagunga is evidence that the new competence-based lower secondary curriculum is being implemented effectively. During this education fair, under the theme Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics, including Humanities, These projects by students were assessed by judges to evaluate their production, relevance, and impact.
Our coming here is not just from anywhere, but it is a follow-up of one of the major requirements of the lower secondary curriculum. It is no longer referred to as the new lower secondary school curriculum, but it is the lower secondary school curriculum. So classes have taken it up on, since it is key for each and every student in all the subjects to have project work done. So projects are required in each and every subject. That is why today we are not here only for the sciences, but we have the humanities as well. We have the languages, we have subjects like geography, and each and every subject is represented. This comes because it is key in the lower secondary school curriculum, which clearly shows that the learners have taken it up under the guidance of the teachers to see how important it is. Alongside, we also have parents who have come in to support their children so that they can actually appreciate and take part and know how important project work is, because at one point they come in as key players to provide the necessary support. It could be financial support, it could be material support, and it comes in handy for them to be around. They're also visiting schools on this particular day. They come in to try to benchmark and see what this school is doing, so that when they go back to their schools, they're able to borrow a leaf and do the same.
This year's education exhibition, we have a total of 71 projects. Of these 71, they are in 3 categories. We have projects under humanities, and we have projects under vocational and the main sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. The projects we have are very important because, one, they build creativity in the children. Not only creativity, the children use their classroom knowledge to solve daily problems in life. For instance, we have projects like Polyvisioner. They are trying to solve the problem of crowding in a class, where children are crowding around a specimen. So Polyvisioner allows them now to visualize, give a bigger view. So the projects are very helpful in that they assist children build their creativity and eventually solve our problems. With this kind of projects, if we have them all the time, we shall eventually come up with our own ways of survival. We will not be depending on other countries. The projects are part of their classroom work. They are required to be a little bit creative during their lessons after they have learned something. The new curriculum requires them, the competence-based curriculum requires them to use the knowledge to solve problems. And therefore, these projects are part of them. It is part of their daily lives. Though for projects, sometimes it takes time because it involves building, trying it, and it fails, and they rebuild it. So that process continues of rebuilding and breaking, building and breaking. So it takes them sometimes. That's why we have it. In a year, we have it once. We don't have it very many times. We have it once in a year because of that rigorous process of building up their projects. The projects can be helpful to the community because if we have projects that are trying to solve our daily problems, then the communities are part of us. We come from these communities, and if these problems are solving the problems around our communities, then they are very helpful to the communities. For example, we have another project which was looking at building a security alarm. You are away from home. It is very simple. You are away from home, but when thieves break into your house, they will be able to, the alarm will be able to alert you. Built simply from the students' innovation, very simple innovations. So I think the projects are very helpful to both the communities, the school community, and even the neighbors. We also have invited a number of schools. We have around 7 schools. We have Namugongo, we have Chitovu, we have St. Joseph, Namagunga, we have Ntare from the west. So the catchment, there are many other schools. We have bigger catchment area. They normally come during our exhibition.
Mount St. Mary's College Namagunga is a boarding girls' school founded by Little Sisters of St. Francis. It was established to educate and empower the girl child. Therefore, equipping the girls with skills under the competence-based lower secondary curriculum by the government is a step in the right direction.
This school is founded on Catholic principles, and we try to encourage the girls to be self-reliant. And that is why, one of the reasons why today we have the annual Science Fair 2025 with the theme of STEM and Humanities for Sustainable Growth and Economic Development. As you have seen, the girls have shown us what they have learned, their own innovations. We are encouraging them to embrace innovation through science and technology because this is the way to go. With the current trend in the world, we navigate through the complexities of the 21st century. Yeah, we are challenged by the climate today. That's why you saw in many of their projects, they were talking about looking after Mother Earth, to keep the environment green, to avoid polythene, to avoid pollution, so that we have that green environment. And we encourage them to do this since they are the future mothers. This is done because we know even if one person changes their attitude towards the environment will mother us better. So I must appreciate these girls and the teachers, of course, the teachers especially who have guided them. It has not been very easy because the term has been very busy, but it is surprising and also encouraging that the girls have come up with whatever they have been able to come up with. And in it all, we see the positivity of the new curriculum. It is their own personal innovation. Because as you saw with some, we were asking them, how did you come up with this? And then they tell you, we were taught about a certain topic. Then I felt I had to come up with a project because in the new curriculum, they're encouraged to come up with projects. So these projects may not be taught, but they are their personal innovations in their different groups. That's why they are working in groups.
That is all we had for you in this week's episode on the Education Forum. Stay tuned for more shows to come. I'm Maureen Babidia. Good evening.